The Las Vegas Raiders do not look like a team sleepwalking through OTAs. Something feels different inside that building. Klint Kubiak has brought a sharper edge to the offense. Kirk Cousins is giving the quarterback room a steady veteran voice. Fernando Mendoza is being watched like every throw means something. And Max Crosby is still carrying that same fire, even while his body works back toward full speed. Nobody expected May practices to feel this serious, but that is the point. This does not feel like a team playing around with hope. It feels like a team trying to change its whole identity before the real pressure even starts. And that is where the story gets bigger than one practice. Brock Bowers is moving like the main weapon again. Ashton Jeanty looks like the kind of back who could turn this offense into something harder to defend. The young receivers are not being handed anything. They are being tested. The offensive line is being mixed, checked, moved around, and pushed to find the right group. Even the defense looks ahead right now, flying around, forcing mistakes, and making the offense earn every clean rep. That matters, because good teams are not built from speeches. They are built when the smallest drills start feeling like jobs are on the line. But here's the twist. The biggest thing at Raiders OTAs was not only what happened on the field, it was who showed up to watch it. Tom Brady was in the building, around the quarterbacks, around the offense, around the future of this team. That changes the mood fast. Because when the greatest quarterback ever is standing close to Kirk Cousins, Fernando Mendoza, and the rest of that room, every throw feels a little louder. Every mistake feels like a lesson. And every good rep starts to look like part of a much bigger plan. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Raiders and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 350 likes on this video. The wild part is not that Tom Brady walked into Raiders OTAs. The wild part is how different the room feels when he is there. Tom Brady is not just another famous face standing near practice. He is the standard every quarterback in that building understands. When Kirk Cousins throws, when Aidan O'Connell listens, when Fernando Mendoza studies, the bar is no longer hidden. It is standing right in front of them. That matters most for Fernando Mendoza, because a rookie quarterback can get buried fast if the room around him is weak. This room is not weak. Kirk Cousins gives him a calm veteran example. Aidan O'Connell gives him real competition. Andrew Janocko gives him daily teaching. Klint Kubiak gives him the system. And Tom Brady gives him something no playbook can fake, a live picture of what serious quarterback habits look like. Every rep carries context now, and every quiet coaching moment can become part of his early growth. That does not mean Mendoza is ready today. It means he has no excuse to drift. The Raiders are building pressure without rushing the kid. That is smart. Let Cousins carry the early command. Let Mendoza make mistakes while the games are not real. Let Brady stay close enough for the room to feel his shadow. Because the question is not whether Fernando Mendoza flashes in May. The question is whether this setup can turn flashes into a real future. And that leads right into the quarterback room itself. Kirk Cousins is not walking into this quarterback room like a placeholder. He is taking first team work, setting the pace, and forcing everyone behind him to chase a real standard. That is exactly what the Las Vegas Raiders needed. Not noise, not guessing. A clear starting point. But the interesting part is not only who is leading today, it is how long that lead can stay safe once the young arm behind him starts learning faster. Aidan O'Connell is caught in the middle of this whole thing, and that spot is never easy. He has real NFL snaps, real toughness, and enough experience to keep pressure on the room. But Fernando Mendoza is the rookie everyone is watching, because every rep he takes feels like part of a bigger countdown. He does not need to win the job in May. That would be fake drama. What he needs is cleaner footwork, faster reads, better timing, and proof that the game is slowing down. That is why every missed throw matters, but every bounce back matters even more. A bad rep can expose him. A strong finish can tell the coaches he is processing, not panicking. This is where the Raiders have to be careful. If Cousins plays steady, the team can let Mendoza grow without throwing him into chaos. If the offense stalls, the calls for the rookie will get loud fast. And that is the hidden tension inside this room. The order is clear right now, but the season has a way of testing plans. The next clue is sitting with the player every quarterback needs most, Brock Bowers. That connection can protect a veteran, speed up a young passer, and reveal whether this offense is finally ready to look dangerous again for real when pressure rises early. Brock Bowers is the kind of weapon who changes the whole feeling of a quarterback room. A normal tight end gives you a safe throw. Bowers gives you a problem the defense has to solve before the ball is even snapped. That is why his role matters so much in this new Raiders offense. Kirk Cousins does not need every play to be perfect if Bowers is finding space. Fernando Mendoza does not need to see the whole field at once if Bowers becomes the first answer when things speed up. What makes Bowers dangerous is not only his hands, it is the stress he puts on every matchup. Put a linebacker on him, and the route can open fast. Put a safety on him, and the size starts to show. Bring a corner down, and the offense gets another look somewhere else. That is why Klint Kubiak has a real chance to build through him, not just call plays for him. Bowers can line up tight, slide inside, move around, and force the defense to declare what it wants to protect. The Raiders have been waiting for a piece like that, someone who does not need noise to control attention. The quiet part is what makes it feel even bigger. Bowers is not selling himself with big talk. He is letting the field do it. When a player works that way, quarterbacks trust him faster, coaches design more around him, and defenses start leaning his direction before the snap. That is where the whole offense can open. If Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, Malik Benson, and the young receivers start winning their own battles, this attack stops being one weapon. It becomes a choice nobody wants to defend, and that pressure shifts the story straight to the receiver room next. The Raiders' receiver room is where comfort goes to die right now. Nobody is safe because nobody has fully claimed the job. Trey Tucker has speed, trust, and a stronger voice than before. Jack Besh brings that tough middle field style quarterbacks love when the pocket gets tight. Malik Benson gives the offense a flash element that can flip a practice fast. Jalen Naylor adds another layer of speed. Dante Thornton Jr. has the size that keeps coaches interested. But this is not about collecting names. This is about who earns snaps when the offense stops experimenting. Klint Kubiak is moving pieces around, testing different groups, and watching who can handle timing with Kirk Cousins, who can help Aiden O'Connell, and who can grow with Fernando Mendoza. That matters because young receivers can look exciting in shorts, then disappear when the details get hard. The route has to be clean. The split has to be right. The catch has to finish the rep. The blocking has to show up when the ball goes somewhere else. That is how trust gets built. The outside noise is already trying to pull the Raiders toward bigger names, and Keon Coleman is the kind of rumor that gets fans talking fast. But the real question is sharper than that. Do the Raiders already have enough if these young targets grow quickly, or does this room still need one more piece before the season turns serious? That answer will not come from hype. It will come from separation, timing, toughness, and consistency. And once this passing group finds out who belongs, the pressure moves to the backfield, where Ashton Jeanty might be the player this new offense needs most. Ashton Jeanty is not just another piece in this Raiders rebuild. He is the pressure point. If this new offense works, he is the player who can make it feel real on Sundays. Klint Kubiak does not need him to be a side note. He needs him to punish light boxes, stress linebackers, and turn simple runs into problems that force defenses to change their plan. That is how an offense becomes physical without becoming boring. The scary part is how much this depends on the people in front of him. Colton Miller has to anchor the edge. Tyler Linderbaum has to control the middle. Jackson Powers Johnson needs a stable role instead of being moved around like a puzzle piece. Spencer Burford, DJ Glaze, Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant, and Trey Zoom. The third are all part of a bigger fight for order up front. The Raiders do not need perfect blocking every snap. They need clean lanes, better angles, and fewer wasted touches. Give Genty space early, and the whole offense changes its heartbeat. That is why this section matters so much. A strong run game protects Kirk Cousins from carrying everything. It gives Fernando Mendoza a softer landing when his time comes. It opens play action for Brock Bowers and gives the receivers more room to work. But if the line cannot hold up, all that promise turns into pressure fast. So the Raiders are not just testing a running back here. They are testing the identity of the whole offense. And once the offense shows what it can or cannot be, the defense is waiting with its own message, louder, sharper, and already ahead of the curve. Max Crosby, being around the field, tells the whole defense one thing: the standard is not waiting for September. He is not fully back in the middle of every rep yet, but his presence still changes the temperature. Young players see him moving, talking, pushing, and they understand what kind of edge this team wants. The Raiders' defense is not acting like a group trying to survive OTAs. It is acting like a group trying to take control early. That showed up in the way Jeremy Chinn kept attacking practice. He picked off Kirk Cousins when the pocket movement turned risky. He chased down Ashton Genty after a long run and punched the ball loose when most players would have let the rep end. That kind of play does not show up in a standings column today, but it tells coaches who is wired to finish. The defense was talking, moving, and forcing the offense to earn comfort. Nothing cheap, nothing soft. Every clean offensive snap had to fight through pressure, angles, and communication. The best sign was not only the big plays, it was the teaching. Eric Stokes pulling Hezekiah Masses aside after a tough rep matters, because that is how a young secondary grows. Joe Woods did not even need to step in first, because the veteran had already seen the problem and corrected it. That is real leadership. The Raiders need stars, but they also need players who fix details before mistakes become habits. If the defense keeps building that way, the offense will be tested every day, and the roster decisions will get tougher fast. Because once June arrives, this team has to decide who truly belongs. This is where the Raiders story gets uncomfortable, because OTAs are not only about who flashes, they are also about who survives. Every roster has names. People like names, coaches respect, and names fans barely notice. But once June 1st passes, front offices start looking at money, fit, depth, and future space with colder eyes. John Spytek and Clint Kubiak are not building a comfort club. They are building a football team, and that means hard calls are coming. That puts the bottom of the roster under real pressure. Dalton Wagner, Will Putnam, Antonio Mafi, Philip Dorsett II, Patrick Gerd, Tristan McCollum, Trevin Mae, Brennan Jackson, Jafari Harvey, and Alex Ward all sit in that uncomfortable zone where one strong week can help and one quiet week can hurt. None of that means these players are bad. It means the Raiders are deeper in some spots, younger in others, and still hunting for the cleanest version of the final group. When a new staff arrives, old assumptions do not carry the same weight. And that is why the Keon Coleman noise matters, even if nothing happens. It shows the Raiders are being watched as a team that might still adjust. Maybe they trust Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, Malik Benson, Jalen Naylor, and Dante Thornton Jr. Maybe they wait. Maybe one move changes the room. But the bigger truth is simple. This roster is not finished yet. OTAs gave us the first picture, not the final answer. Training camp will decide who is real, who is ready, and who was only part of the early version of this new Raiders plan.